What's up, you filthy casuals? Welcome to the Casual Shenanigans Gaming Podcast, a podcast all about everything PC gaming related. I am one of your hosts, Germ Gaming, and tonight we have probably more people than we've ever had on the podcast before, so if Skype crashes and burns, that's why, and we're sorry, and we'll get it back up and running as fast as we can. Yes, blame Microsoft. But
free software.
Tonight you are hearing the voice of my co-host, Dave, the not-so-evil Viking 13.
What's up, guys?
Deeply regretting his 14-year-old gamertag choice. It's alright, Dave. We know all the other evil Vikings were taken.
Hey, I was 13, okay?
We are also joined by the avatar of Debbie. Hi, Debbie's avatar. We are joined by Joel.
Hey, guys. Drink water.
Thank you, Joel. That has been Health Tips with Joel. And tonight we are joined by the hosts of the Unconsoleable podcast, Anna and Jessica. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Everyone says the others are really quiet, and I'm coming through the left side of the speakers only, so I'm popping back to another computer to look at that for a second. Dave, why don't you explain to everyone why we're having a few technical issues?
Wow, that was a sudden end to that sentence.
Oh, sorry. Dave, with a lot of lead up, why don't you vamp for a minute?
Yeah, so this
they
week...
say they can't hear anybody except Germ.
Oh. All right, I'm cranking you guys way up. Let's see how this goes.
We'll do it live!
Well, someone is saying they're all
Wow,
so
exciting, I have to say.
Down the tube.
All right, hey, you guys, how's it going? Are you
Can
you
you
good?
guys hear us now?
It's going good. I think everyone
Yes,
hear me
someone
now?
said
I
yes.
should be able to hear them. If it's coming out through the left side of the speakers, I don't know, guys.
Okay,
We'll figure it
you're
out
all
later.
super
Share some
quiet.
of your big voice with us.
Can I share the big voice? Ooh. Okay,
Is that
What's that
so
supposed to mean?
as long as everyone gets
boy.
loud, we're just going to deal with the left speaker issue, and you guys. I'm
Everybody
sorry.
can always hear Anna.
all right, that's enough, Jessica. That's enough.
Everyone just switched to mono.
Yeah, why are you guys listening on
Let's go old
stereo
school.
speakers? We're just talking on mics. You don't need a stereo setup, you fancy people. Yeah, anyway,
Guys.
so we're having a little bit of technical issues right now because this is actually the first podcast that is being streamed on the Potato Masher. If you don't know what the Potato Masher is, it's our $350 console killer we assembled out of eBay parts and Debbie's old monstrous aluminum case.
With blue lights.
And we are
of
going to be
course.
using that to...
But she sabotaged for me.
We're going to be using the Potato Masher to compare consoles to a PC that cost about the same amount of money as a used PlayStation 4 and seeing what can you get for your money. Can you get a good bang for your buck with a super cheap gaming PC? And it's also going to be serving as our streaming computer. So it is streaming the podcast tonight, but I am going through a complicated mess of wires to do it, so this will probably get better as the weeks go on, but for tonight, this is what we got. So I'm turning everyone else's audio up a little bit more, because people still say you're quiet. But yeah, so that's what's going on with technical issues, so if you guys are just patient in chat and let me know when there's a problem. Everyone listening to the audio version of this is going to wonder why we keep going on about it, because all the levels will be adjusted by the time you hear it, and you're probably turning the podcast off around nowish.
Great
So-
audio content for the iTunes listeners.
They skipped way ahead.
Maybe I'll just cut all this out for the audio version. Who knows? But anyway, so welcome to the podcast, everybody. As I said, we're joined by Anna and Jessica from the Unconsoleable podcast. Now, am I pronouncing that right? Because
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you are.
I wasn't sure if I should say unconsolable.
We only say unconsoleable when we're telling people how to spell it.
Okay.
We do that when we want people to know how to spell it so they can get to the right website or Twitter account or whatnot.
Gotcha.
But you pronounced it perfectly.
Okay, because
Nice.
unconsolable doesn't quite roll off the tongue as well.
No.
So I wanted
Right.
to make sure. No, Debbie brought to my attention this week, I'd missed it, because the first podcast of yours I listened to, I think, was episode 2. But she said in episode 1, you guys introduced yourselves as filthy casuals.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I had seen that somewhere. I don't know if you remember where that was, Jessica. I saw like a T-shirt somewhere.
Yeah, something like that.
And I don't even know if it was referring to gamers or not, but I just thought that was funny because it sounded to me like something quote unquote real gamers would call gamers like us.
There's a photo out there somewhere that I've seen so many times of like this neckbeard guy like wearing a headset, like spitting Cheetos, and it's labeled like "Get away from me, you filthy casuals."
Right, exactly.
I think that's where I saw it first.
So that's why it's kind of funny that you guys have beards. So
thanks.
we know you're.
Wait, someone called "What's on my face" a beard. That's the first time. It's the first time.
It's not a full beard.
I'm going
not
to
a full
say
beard. Fine.
Glorified goatee is what I would go
I would
with.
just admire his beard.
Thanks, Joel. Yeah, we like the filthy casuals tag just because, like, while we do enjoy playing more serious games, like, we'll play really hardcore simulation PC shooters like ARMA, but when we are playing it, half the time we're just like riding around in circles, smashing into each other's cars and just destroying things. So like we play very serious games, but I don't think anyone's ever accused us of taking it too seriously.
Our last ARMA mission, we killed the bad guy, we saved the hostages, then we came back to base, everyone got into the back of a pickup truck, and we attached it to a helicopter and flew like 2,000 meters in the sky and like flung the car off into the clouds.
No, Dave, you're doing yourself an injustice. You spun the truck into the loop-de-loop. You're like going into a loop-de-loop, released it, it pirouetted through the air while we all did a freedom dump out the back of it, shooting our guns as fast as we could, and then we all parachuted to safety. And it was gorgeous.
Super serious gameplay.
I crossy roads.
Yeah. I walk on things in Monument Valley, or I'm just trying to think about what's the like closest thing to a game like that I would have ever played or ever will play. I guess I don't know, Portal, because that's technically a first-person shooter.
I shot some cameras in Portal.
Yeah, and I shot some portals, and I wasn't very good at it, so I stopped playing it.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
I didn't finish.
As well. I was like,
Does anyone know anybody who's as good at Portal as the videos you see on YouTube? Because I see people just like flying through the air like at 200 miles an hour, shooting portals ahead of them and just warping all over the place. And it takes me like 10 minutes longer for all of it.
But we have like, I know people that at least have finished the game though, and I am not one of them.
Debbie, thank you for that appropriate amount of ego there. I think I am good, possibly.
She's not kidding. She played some serious Portal back in the day. I remember her and my old boss were like watching every single pre-release trailer and announcement for Portal 2. They were super psyched.
That was actually me and Joel. We had this countdown at our cubes at work. Portal 2, and every day it was just a party.
Like you're doing with H1Z1 right now?
Maybe.
I mean, you're pretty much the Dave of H1Z1. Like, I haven't learned any information about H1Z1 except for stuff you send to me over Google Hangouts.
I just wait for the link to come through.
Exactly. But yeah, anyway, we're not here to talk about us. So, Anna and Jessica, you guys' podcast is Unconsoleable, where I was about to try to remember your kind of slogan thing and say it, but I think I'm going to forget about a quarter of it. You guys say that you really enjoy gaming, but consoles scare you, and I'm sure I just butchered that.
We love games, but consoles scare us.
That's what it sounds like.
Scare me too.
I'm glad Jessica got to say it, because that's usually, I like do the intro, and so I get to say it always. But I think we had, Jessica, do you remember which episode was it? Was it the Never Alone one where we had to explain kind of, our whole stance on the fact that we don't, like, it's not like we hate console gaming or people that play games on consoles. It's just, like, not our thing. And now, of course, it's a little bit too late to change the name of the podcast. but we, it's sort of like, I mean, it's like our hook. It's like our shtick, but we, I mean, it kind of, after the fact, we come to find out that it's not only people who play on consoles that play, hardcore games. It's obviously like people like you guys too that play PC games a lot and that are, can be, that are, equally hardcore type of games where, you have to really be good. And well, in our opinion anyway, that's how we see it.
You obviously haven't seen us play much.
Because all that stuff you said about, that after the mission you fooled around and whatever, well, you still did the mission though. So like we wouldn't be able to do even that.
Achieve mission completion. No, it would be like,
Did
it would be a failure.
Did the mission. There was a whole lot of running around going, wait, what's going on? Who's where they're supposed to be? No one is. Okay, cool. And then our chopper goes down, and then we get lost, and then we end up having to warp stuff around, kind of breaking immersion, and we have to consult the drone, which is just Dave flying around in free cam telling us secrets. So, yes, we completed the mission, but... See, what we like about PC gaming is it can do all the hardcore stuff, you know, and I would hesitate to call most of what we do hardcore at all. But it can do all that, but it also can do pretty much anything else you want to do. Anything from running ROMs to running browser games to like super awesome indies. I mean, the PlayStation's kind of getting on board with indie games, and I guess phones and tablets have been doing a pretty good job of that in the past couple years.
To inappropriate amounts of Sid Meier's Trains. Anybody?
Yes, any amount of Sid Meier's Trains is inappropriate, Dave. But I'm glad you enjoy it.
So hardcore.
So good.
Is it? It is. You're the only person I know with trains in your house and train video games, and you're very excited about it, and I'm just happy you've got your thing.
Trains are awesome.
Trains.
I was
a
actually...
large niche.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people are into trains.
But the video games, the video games have never been that awesome though, because like it's really, I feel like no one's really captured the magic of model trains in a simulator. Because you see all like any videos you see of Train Simulator, it's almost none of it is people actually playing Train Simulator. Most of it's them figuring out how to derail the trains and crash and go at max. Yeah, it doesn't really.
That's what I would do too. I mean, I gotta say.
Yeah, me too.
So what?
Dave's like, you feel the casuals.
Dave's like, how dare you disrespect the trains?
I'm gonna get the first train game that offers Oculus Rift support, so I can just like ride in the train. Dave would just sit in the train. He'd be like 8 hours later, he's like, I went to California.
Okay, I have an idea. I don't know if you're prepared for this, but you could go on a real train.
That costs money though. Well, I guess
it's so expensive. Like I was gonna take a train to, I don't know, Washington D.C. or something from Atlanta, and it was like more expensive than flying, and it took 13 hours. So I was like, maybe not.
Yeah. I was considering a train.
Like
for
if it was as nice as a hotel.
Yeah, they're not as nice. That's for sure.
Like if it was as nice as that, I wouldn't mind paying for it because it is a pleasant experience. I've been on a couple trains, and it's been a lot of fun. But yeah, it's so expensive. It's ridiculous.
I thought they were a lot cheaper.
Nice.
What's nice?
Nope. Just look it up. It's ridiculous.
Oh, legroom would be fantastic because I'm kind of tall for a chick, so that's a problem.
Oh, so I'm guessing you really
I don't have that issue. I don't have that issue. I'm short. But yeah, why is it more expensive than flying? That doesn't make any sense.
I thought it was way cheap.
About oil prices, subsidization, and something. Amtrak has to lease the rails. Amtrak doesn't own the rails. Like,
really?
Weird. I forget. I'm like totally bullshitting you right now. I'm half remembering something somebody told me.
Oh, Jessica, we're doing the thing that like guys are better at. Where you talk about stuff.
That, not that infrequently because I'm in IT and I figured out that you have to.
You have to
you have to be able to like talk about stuff without potentially having no clue what you're saying, but sound really authoritative.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
I do a bit of IT work too, and it's like half of it is you have to be able to talk confidently to the user while you're trying to figure out what they're talking about. You're like, oh,
while you're
Googling
on your phone.
Problem. We're just figuring this out right now while I'm Googling. Why does this keep popping up? While what you're really thinking is,
I'm gonna be fired.
How did you do this again? Why can't you print stuff? Why can't you just do that? Why is this a problem?
Why are you printing? Just don't print.
I had a user do that this week. They somehow like managed to keep disconnecting their networked printer over and over and over, and I have to log in remotely. And it's like they don't even know how to get to their printer settings. Like I don't know what they're doing, but I'll reconnect it, and then 20 minutes later, ring, 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 ring. Hey, it can't see the printer again. Everyone else can see the printer, just not this one person. Anyway, sorry about the rabbit trail. So what gaming platforms do you guys prefer? I listened to the podcast, but I'm feigning ignorance so that we can share it with everyone else.
That's okay. Jessica, you go first.
I play a few games. My primary computer right now is a MacBook Air, so that pretty much limits what I can do on my computer. I do play some games on my MacBook Air until it gets alarmingly hot, and then I have to stop. Other than that, I play quite a few mobile games on my phone, on the train, the little boring electric commuter train, though, not a cool train.
Not the cool, expensive train that costs more than flying.
No, the surprisingly expensive but still reasonable MARTA. I love MARTA. MARTA gets a lot of crap, but it's fine. It's a good way to get to work if you are lucky enough to work at one of the 5 places within the reach of MARTA.
Is MARTA the transportation authority in Atlanta?
Yes, the Metro Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority.
They really tried to make that into something that would be a whole word, didn't they?
Yeah, I guess.
You can tell when someone's really reaching with, when they're taking the first word, or what's it called when you take the first letter off something and put it together and make a word?
Like Pig Latin?
No, it's not called Pig Latin.
Well, that is a description of Pig Latin, but I'm not sure.
But that's anagram? No.
No,
Are you
it's
thinking
not an
of
anagram.
acronym?
No.
Where you start with what you want it to be,
I think acronym, yeah.
Acronym, man. Wow. Doing good. Yeah, you can tell with a lot of acronyms, like people were really
Okay,
reaching.
so maybe you need to play more word games, I would suggest.
Maybe I don't play many word games.
Challenge Anna in letterpress. She loves that. And I'm
Come on, Jeremiah, you were homeschooled.
It feels like homework to me.
Okay, see, my problem is always...
That's because you're no fun.
The only games I ever usually successfully play on my phone, I'll just stumble across them or someone recommends them, because like every time I go to the Google Play Store... How do you get... Well, let me
you're
ask
on
you guys.
Android, you poor thing.
Well, I was on iPhone. I just switched back to Android.
Like Jessica's husband. He's recently done the same.
But
he didn't switch back. He switched for the first time. I used Android several years ago, and it was an unmitigated disaster, and I'm spoiled. I'm like, it's ruined for me ever since.
I actually went to iOS recently because of there being more games. And because there are often games that are only on iOS, and maybe one day they'll come to Android, but it's like I'm not willing to wait. Something really, like right now we've talked on our show about 80 Days, for example. Great game, only on iOS, so I wouldn't have been able to play it. Well, we do have an iPad at home, but so I could have played it on that, but I prefer playing stuff on, if I'm going to play something mobile, I prefer my phone, because my iPad isn't it's not under my authority, let's just put it that way. Mostly my husband uses it, or my son, so I just I would rarely have a chance to have it for like a long period of time, so usually I use my phone. But I feel you on, like, when you just go to the store and look for games, it's not great. Like, we've talked about this on our show too. It's like a wall of stupid.
And then it's not like, for normal console gaming, not so much with indie games, but for console or PC gaming, for the most part, you can go to a reputable game site and they'll have reviews of most games coming out. But obviously not with indies, because too many of them are coming out now. But are there good sites like that for phones? Like, I've just never really come across a really awesome, like the IGN of cell phone games. Yeah,
there's Pocket Gamer, is one that comes to mind right away. But it's really kind of a problem. I mean, like, I've seen like the major sites cover mobile games to some degree. Yeah. But I don't know if anyone other than Pocket Gamer like focuses only on mobile. There might well be others that I just don't know about, but there's not a lot, and that's like that really bothers me too, because I also have to rely a lot on like recommendations or stuff I hear people talk about on other podcasts, or something one of my friends is playing and it's like, oh, you should check this out. So I know I'm probably missing a lot, and it pisses me off.
So in the world of mobile games, what have you guys been playing this year that like is really awesome?
And this I need help with a lot, because I actually got my first smartphone 6 months ago.
Oh, bless your heart.
I went from an LG like slide out like media phone to a Nexus 5, and so I'm still lost when it comes to anything good on mobile.
And his media phone, he's underselling it a little bit. You even browsed Facebook, I think, on this thing. You were showing me. It was like the worst browser I've ever seen. It looked like Internet Explorer version 2.
To get to Facebook
it's
on the media
phone. They charge you extra each month for the privilege of using all that media.
I was paying smartphone prices for a media phone where to go to Facebook, you open up the Verizon Opera mobile browser that never got updated, and you go to m.facebook.com on 3G.
Whoa.
No.
Well, congratulations on your
on Edge, but
so now
congratulations on your big upgrade. Then.
Oh, he's
it's
very
a whole new
happy.
World.
And he keeps asking, like, the first month was great because he'd be like, guys, you can like take pictures with your phone. You can write notes on it. And we're all like, yeah, Dave, you totally can do that.
I was like 5 years behind.
Wow.
Getting
can't
email
imagine.
on my phone was like, it blew my mind. Like, it's just right there. It like pops up. It blinks at you when you get an email. Like, you don't have to open up this mobile browser thing and go to your email.
Don't encourage him.
We know.
It was bad.
He's fully lost now. I knew that because like we showed up to our annual group vacation this year, and I walked in, and Dave is sitting on a stool. This is at the beach, by the way, sitting on a stool in the very far corner of the living room, holding his phone up where he can where he can grab Wi-Fi from the house next door because he's stealing my smartphone is life.
I was about to cover him in tinfoil to help.
Oh, that's so precious.
And now I need to get into the games now. I feel like I have like a lot of catching up to do.
Well, Dave, if you like looting and you like being obsessive about games, and I'm saying if you like, I know you like this. What's that? Is it Castle Clash? Is that like the latest crack of the...
There might well be. There's like 500 different games that have like very similar names like that.
There's one my brother and his wife play. They're part of like an international guild of people who play this phone game. And every time I'm like playing something with him, like Age of Empires, over Skype, we're talking. I can hear in the background his wife's always like, okay, have you run your raids for the day? Like she's going off a checklist. Did you run your raids? Okay, everyone's getting on in 20 minutes. Okay, I had to go on, and like when he's away for work and stuff, she signs onto his phone and has to keep updated with it. So like all those people are getting XP. Like there's apparently some really deep games on mobile.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of work.
that sounds like homework.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It sounds like someone was like, can we take the World of Warcraft experience and move it onto something you can carry with you all the time?
Oh man. Well, I guess that's... Oh no. That's like not my thing personally, and I think not Jessica's either, right, Jessica?
No.
Yeah, no.
I don't want responsibility in my games. Like...
No, yeah, I just want fun, or, just like something really amazing and different. I mean, like narrative is important to us there's not definitely a lot of that on mobile, but at least something really new and different and novel, because there's a lot of games on mobile that, as you know, like there'll be like one game that's kind of successful, and so then there'll suddenly be like 100 other games that copy the concept, and it's basically the same thing, except maybe not as good, or so it's really frustrating to try to find like a needle in a haystack of a good game. So like games, I already mentioned.
Right. Somebody in the chat said Phoenix Wright, and like,
no. Yes, Phoenix Wright.
No.
Yes.
It's so stupid.
Oh, okay. Shh, quiet. Don't listen to Jessica. This is our
major disagreement in gaming.
Don't listen.
Like we agree on everything else, but
thank you, Pierogi. I'll be mailing you your check.
Yeah, no, we're gonna do a whole show on it eventually. So Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney.
We have a plan.
We're gonna do a show where it's gonna be like a court case, because the game is like about an attorney, and he has to investigate these cases and then like argue them in court. And so we're gonna have like a trial about, and then we'll see who like I'll be pro Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, and Jessica will be against, and we'll have a friend on to be the judge, and it's gonna be epic.
Oh,
and
God. I'm of gonna course have to predicting play it I'm gonna win. I can get quotes to prove that it's so stupid.
Okay, so that's a good game if you like if you don't like to read a lot of stuff during the game. That would not be for you, because there's a lot of like characters saying stuff that you actually really need to pay attention to a lot of the time, because it's going to be pertinent later on. But I mentioned 80 Days. Like recently I played Framed, which is amazing, and I highly recommend.
iOS only.
Yeah, iOS only. Yeah. Oh man, I feel bad now. I feel bad. I have to think of what. Well, okay, like everyone knows Monument Valley, right? Does everyone know Monument Valley?
I've heard so much about it, but I don't know like really what it is.
It's okay, kind of
you
a
have
puzzle
to try
game.
it. You have to try it.
Oh, it's so good.
It's I mean it's won it's won lots of awards. So it's really, really amazing, beautiful game, and I don't know, it's not for everybody probably, but you can give it a try. It's at least a quality game that I can vouch for, and even if it's not your thing, it's like it's just really it's technologically it's like a pretty cool achievement, I think, and it's really, to us, we like stuff that's pretty too, so
oh sure,
it helps if it's. I like things that I don't like one of the reasons I don't like a lot of those like Clash of this and Castles and whatever and all those type of stuff is because usually for me those games look very cluttered, and on a small screen, like I cannot be trying to pay attention to 20 different things going on like a still a fairly tiny screen. So for me those are out. Even on a tablet, probably it wouldn't be the best for me. So
Debbie, what was that?
I'm trying to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm going to think of some others though, but you go ahead. Or Jessica, if you have other suggestions.
I know nothing about Android.
Well, but there's a lot of games that are on both, so.
That's okay. I don't either. I'm still learning.
Debbie, what was that game you were playing at the beach this year with like the unicorn?
Oh gosh, the most addicting game ever. Like Rainbow Unicorns Attack or Robot Unicorns Attack.
Unicorns Attack. Because I remember that looked like a really simple concept, but really fun. Is that on Android by any chance?
I don't know. I have an iOS. So.
Oh, fine. All right.
You'll have to check.
Yeah.
You just have to look. Yeah, I mean, that's why
hardcore phone gamers pretty much have to be on iOS.
Yeah. I'm sorry to break it to you guys.
I just got here.
I know, you can't leave yet. You just got to the party.
I'm so cheap.
It's like the high school movie where you showed up to the costume party and no one else is wearing costumes and you feel like an idiot.
Oh, well, someone in the chat is saying Robot Unicorn Attack is on everything, so there you go.
Sweet. Thanks, Pierogi.
So,
you have the task this week now.
All right, I will try Robot. What I like about phone gaming is the PPI so high on the screens, like the resolution is so dense that even pretty simple games look so crisp and so nice. And they actually, I'm surprised at how smoothly they can get things running on a phone game, especially like the relatively low size of the game, like the low file sizes, and how pretty stuff can look for being something you download in 100 megs or 200 megs. I think it's pretty cool. I think there's a lot of innovation going on in phone gaming right now, in ways that more conventional gaming has become bloated and just kind of derivative and excessive. I'm seeing lots of cool things in phone gaming, but then I'm also too ignorant to I feel like I don't know enough to even get started. So I click onto the Play Store and then I'll look in the top 100 free games and just try some stuff.
Oh yeah, don't look in there. No.
Well, it really is.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
Well, I don't know where to go.
You have to. Okay,
is a real challenge.
Okay, I hope you're taking notes. So here we gave you some of them were iOS only, fine, but so you can't play those. But there's do you like for example, do you like Tetris?
I do like Tetris.
I'm not going to go tell you to play Tetris. I have another suggestion for you.
Okay, I like Tetris.
Okay, good.
Does somebody not like Tetris?
I know.
Yeah, well, I don't know. There must be people who don't.
No, nonsense.
Well, they're wrong. Those people.
They should be exterminated.
Right. Well, I wouldn't go that far.
That's not the official position of Casual Shenanigans Gaming.
Okay, good.
They're just
I threaten people regularly on Unconsoleable.
Terminate the non-believers.
So if you like Tetris, there's a game called Puzzix that is on Android for sure, because I did play it when I was on Android. So it's Puzzix, Puzzix, and it's Tetris-like in a sense, but sort of not. So you'll see. It's you can just play it for short bursts. It's similar, like I said, to where there's things dropping and you have to fit them together. But it's not like Tetris, and it's got really pleasant, chill music also. So that's like a really nice touch, I always thought, because it does get stressful as you get into the higher levels, a little bit stressful in that you won't be able to, but you can redo every level as many times as you want. So
sweet.
There's also Smash Hit, which I know for a fact is on Android. Again, I played it on Android. It's like an endless runner type game, but you're smashing basically all kinds of glass things with these metal balls. So they're obstacles that you're trying to get through. You can't, if you bump into one, like you lose 10 of your balls or whatever. And if you run out of balls, then that's it. I know. The jokes write themselves.
I'd like to thank Joel for containing himself for this.
Yes, thank you, Joel.
I completely missed actually what you even said. So because I was reading
talking about losing your balls, and if you lose too many balls, you have to start over.
Joel, that was all you, man. Come on.
Okay, so somebody
low of jokes.
Somebody in chat is suggesting. Somebody in the chat suggested Cut the Rope. I know a lot of people really like that. I haven't played it, but it's a very, very popular game and well liked. So I think that's probably like a safe bet. And then let's see what else.
Two Dots.
Two Dots. Two Dots is great. I agree.
So addicted.
The original was just boring, like the one that was just called Dots.
One dot was just like super.
Yeah, we need two.
Yeah, no, it's like there's a lot more. It's like there's a lot more to it now. There's a lot more cool little mechanics, and so it's a lot more fun.
And they're constantly rolling out new levels and
like I'm not that far. Okay, Threes, of course. Another suggestion from chat. Threes just won the best game from Apple's App Store. That's like their game of the year. You know, they put out a list every year. And Android does too. The Google Play people do too. And I think we're actually going to talk about that on our next show. So that would actually be a really good one for anyone to listen to that wants to find out about more cool mobile games besides the ones we've talked about.
So if people, if they tune into your show, what can they expect each week? Like, is it just you guys just sit here, right, and you just read off a list of like 400 phone games that come out each week?
No. It's a lot like your show, really, right? Like, wouldn't you say, Jessica?
I would say so. I was actually, the first time I listened to your show, I was pretty surprised. I was like, wow, this is like, it really feels like we're very parallel shows just on different subjects, but with the same goal in mind of having fun and not taking it too seriously.
Like we just we don't have like a super strict format or anything either. It's we talk about like different news things that are going on in the types of games we're interested in, and then we'll talk about games we're playing. And we spend more time usually talking about all kinds of other stuff rather than just games we're playing, because I feel like that gets pretty boring sometimes if people, because if somebody's listening isn't playing the game you're playing or has never played it, it's really not that exciting for them to hear like every nuance and detail about it.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's another. This I can't read it starts with pierogi, right?
Yes.
That person's awesome.
Slaw.
High five, because the Telltale games are very good. Are they not on Android? They might not. No, they probably are, because Telltale's like
I think so.
Pretty. Yeah, those games are good if you like point and click adventures. They have there's one out that's based on Game of Thrones. So if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, they have a game based on that. And then there's also The Wolf Among Us is the one that I've played. I don't watch Game of Thrones, so I don't care about that. Sorry, anyone who really loves it. And they have some other games that are also really good. All of them are on Android, someone's saying. So that's probably right.
Oh, awesome.
I think the first Walking Dead game, I think I got it on Steam for super cheap.
That's right. That's their other, that's one, all kinds of, they do amazing work. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, I feel like now that I'm back on Android, I need to stock it up. I was going to stock it up with games, but then I got a little bit too carried away with saving Spotify playlists, because my wife and I share Spotify, so pretty much every time I want to listen to it, I can't. So I was like, I'll save all these playlists offline, and now my phone is completely full. So I've got to delete a few things, and then I'm going...
You need to put those somewhere else or something.
I know. Well, I smart me, I got a phone without expandable storage, so now I have to decide which of the 30 playlists I don't want to listen to anymore, and that's just too hard to make the choice. But yeah, I highly recommend you guys' podcast. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and we are going to give you a chance at the end of the show to pimp out all of your various links people can follow you at.
Thank you.
Between, I guess, the three of you, or the two of you and the podcast, there's a lot of information that'll all, of course, be in the description of the show as usual, because I'm not going to try to remember all of it now. But I would like to move on to this cool article. Did anyone on the CSG, in the CSG group here, did you guys read it? Okay, cool.
I did.
Oh, everyone read it. Thank you. You guys did your homework.
That's fantastic.
It was good.
This was really interesting. Yeah, and I saw that you had tweeted about this, Anna. It's called Playing with My Son. And this guy, and someone correct me if I'm missing any of the details, but basically, instead of starting him or letting him try modern video games first, he decided to start from the older games, stuff from like the early 80s or late 70s, early 80s, and have his son work through those and then work up chronologically to modern games just so he, I guess, developed skills or appreciated the classics or whatever you want to call it.
Both, it sounds like.
Yeah, and he wanted his son to like just have the full gaming history experience. And it turns out his son is really, really awesome at them, which I guess when you give a 4-year-old Pac-Man, I don't know what you expect. They're going to get good at it. But yeah, it was pretty cool. So his son worked his way all the way. What console did he end up on? He didn't really say, did he?
Through the N64, I think.
No, it's past that because he was playing Spelunky.
PS2.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
He's playing Spelunky, so I guess, is he playing that on a computer? I'm scanning through it now. But yeah, he's caught up to modern day, basically. And I thought it was really interesting. Apparently, this is, as far as controversy on the internet, this is a very mildly controversial article, but some people seem to take issue with this guy, like, making his kids start with old games instead of the new flashy, shiny stuff. So, I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Like, I think it's a pretty cool idea.
He was against that?
Well, no, he wasn't. Some
whatever.
People... some people... Yeah.
Oh, those people are wrong.
People.
Well, I mean, of course, you can't talk about a parenting thing on the internet without half a dozen people chime in to go, actually, the way you should raise your child is
the head tilt. You need the head tilt.
Actually.
Well, that should never happen. As a parent, I agree that in theory, that should never happen because parenting's already really hard. Mm-hmm. And people telling you how you should do it differently, even other parents, is like not cool. Like I try to never, ever, ever remotely even suggest to someone how they should, raise their kid. And I don't think just because I have a kid, it puts me in a position of like any kind of authority in that area because we're all making it up as we go along. Okay. Like that's the honest truth. So, but that's too bad that people thought that because I thought it was a really cool thing.
Most people seem to think it was really cool. I think he maybe did himself a disservice. The author, his subtitle was An Experiment in Forced Nostalgia and Questionable Parenting. And so mostly what people seem to take issue with was like, you're making your kids sit down and play video games. It's like, he's a 4-year-old boy.
Well, he obviously enjoys it.
You don't have to make him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, oh, you're not like forcing this upon a child. He's a small child. He likes playing with toys. It's a toy that makes noise. I can promise you,
a small child, you can't make them do anything they want to do.
Exactly.
They don't want to do.
Exactly.
So it's impossible.
But this kind of makes me
so
like.
He obviously enjoys it.
It's kind of funny thinking about it because like. He was able to dig up, like he bought this Pac-Man thing that plugged into the TV that had all the Pac-Man games on it. A lot of those older consoles...
yeah, those are sold like everywhere. You can like go out and buy one right now.
Yeah, I want one of those like, so bad.
It is.
Old Television games.
But most of them don't save though. That's the only reason why I haven't gotten them yet.
That's true. Yeah. Neither do emulators yet.
And
tough.
That's what kind of stinks is like, I'd love to do something like this, but I would like it if there was a market basically for emulators, because a modern computer could emulate all of this very, very easily. So, I think it would be really awesome if you could just, I don't know, $1 a piece, $5 a piece, buy these games on some marketplace and just emulate them straight from GOG.com or through Steam or something.
Yeah.
Because I think this is a really cool idea, especially because you're starting with older games that worked out of the box, didn't need 1,000 patches, like simple control scheme. Like if you're starting a kid off with something, it makes sense. I wouldn't want to dump a 4-year-old into like a modern game that has patches and you have to sign into their social activity thing and they keep asking you to buy DLC and like, I think there's something to be said for starting somebody back in the classics, because you'll learn the basics of controlling. You won't learn to appreciate super amazing graphics before you appreciate really good gameplay. And you can have an awesome time. And of course, as a small kid, they're not like, you start them with an older game, they're not going to know or care about the difference. Like if it's fun, it's fun. That's all that matters.
Right. Yeah. He talked about that in the article.
Better if it was the reverse, though.
What started?
I think it would have been a better experience. No, better experience of just playing a newer game and then just seeing if the old games can hold up.
Yeah, but then you're kind of setting an expectation. Like, don't you think it'd be better to get used to older graphics so you're on? He's constantly seeing improvements.
I would always say, yeah, definitely do that. But I'm saying for an experimental point, like I think it would make more sense just to see like hey, look, these old games that are, you know, they look like crap, but these are really fun. Like, I think they would actually really appreciate it, because it's like a game like Zelda: Link to the Past. It's not dated. It's not dated at all. There's nothing dated about it. Like, you can play it.
Yeah,
it
but I don't know if kids today would feel that way or not. I mean, like if you were to get a kid used to, like, from day one to, like, really fancy graphics, and if you think about the stuff they watch, like the animated things they watch are really
their cartoons are crappy.
Yeah, like, so, well, but
our cartoons and then were better.
Oh,
yeah, well, okay. Of course, everything was better when we were kids, right? Yeah,
when the real cartoons.
But I think then if they see, like, an older game, they might be like, well, this is stupid. It's like do you remember that scene in what is it, Back to the Future Part 2, where he goes, where he's in the future and he sees, like, the old arcade game at, like, that, like, throwback 80s diner, and he goes to play it. He's all excited to see this game that he used to play when he was a kid, and there's a kid there who's living in the future, and, like, the kid can't figure out what to do, and he's like, here, I'll show you, and he'll take, like, one of those, like, shoot 'em up where it's got, like, a gun stuck to the side of the, you know, housing, and he, like, shows the kid what to do, and the kid's like, you have to use your hands, like, that's for babies. Like, apparently in this future they're playing some kind of games where it's like, you know, they don't even, like, maybe have a controller. I don't know.
They're playing in the alternate universe where the Kinect.
Yeah,
the Kinect
like, so the kid
works.
thought it was dumb. Is the point? He didn't say, like, oh, that looks like fun, and that's cool, even though that's not like the games I'm used to. He thought it was stupid. I think that's how kids now would be too. Like, they're spoiled. This kid, he turns out, I guess probably because also he was starting when he was 4, when he can probably learn a lot faster than us old people.
And lots of free time. Relates to
the Pac-Man games, the Mega Man games, which are not easy.
Those are hard.
By age 5, he was beating like Super Mario, Mega Man, Legend of Zelda at age 6. He finished the Legend of Zelda on his own.
Pretty hardcore.
Then he had Castlevania, Contra. He beat Contra.
Yeah. Wow.
With or without the Konami code?
It doesn't mention it in the article. But
probably without. Like, this kid is like some kind of, like, either he's like I think he has to be slightly some kind of gaming prodigy, because yes, kids learn, obviously you learn faster when you're younger and you have a lot of free time, but, like, not everybody can do that. I think not every kid would be able to do that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I had a computer I could play games on when I was 6, and none of this happened. Everything in this article.
Yeah.
I mostly just played Myst for like 4 years. I didn't really advance like this.
You were 6 when Myst came out?
Does that make me... Well, I don't know if it was already out or not.
Such a baby.
It came out in what, 90? It came out in like 95, I think.
Something like that.
I am the youngest person on the podcast. I feel like I got to realize. I am not 18 years old, Debbie.
Debbie's 18 and a quarter.
I'm like 10.
Okay, I wouldn't have believed
Debbie, I'm only
18
like 10
either,
years younger than you, okay? No, actually, I think Joel is the oldest out of all of us here right now.
Yeah.
Which is funny because he looks like he's, baby-faced 16-year-old, but he's actually like solidly a grown man.
He's like 34.
Solidly 34.
Fully grown. No, so other things I thought was interesting about...
34 is not old. Let's just put that out there right now.
Yes, you definitely knew that, Joel. So what I thought was interesting was that he pretty much stuck with Nintendo for a long while. He did not play the PlayStation 1. He did play the PlayStation 2. Which, I mean, you can't like start from the bottom and work your way up without stopping on the PlayStation 2. Pretty much inarguably the biggest console of all time as far as game releases and everything else.
It had a long run.
Oh, a long run. I mean, I don't think any console has come close to selling as many units as the PlayStation 2 did. I mean, I guess the Wii was probably somewhere in the same vicinity, but the PlayStation 2 is probably always going to be the king of the consoles as far as like market penetration and cultural relevance and everything else. So he ended up on that, but then he was like, one of his favorite games now is Spelunky, which is supposedly one of the most difficult games ever.
Yeah.
And he beat it when he was 8. He had just turned 8. And he beat Spelunky, and apparently there's a part in Spelunky where you have to survive 15 randomly generated levels and then trick the final boss into killing itself. And then you go to, they call it Hell, I guess is the final level. To get to Hell, you have to perform a series of specific rituals in a specific order using unique objects that crop up in different places each time, and then defeat the boss in a particularly audacious way to use his death as a stepping stone to the underworld.
That sounds a lot like work.
Yeah, well, so well,
that's how we feel.
Tom Francis was quoted in the article as saying it only took him 41 minutes to beat it, but it took 3,000 deaths to learn how to do those 41 minutes.
Yeah.
And this kid beat it a month after his 8th birthday.
That's just like, I'm jealous, because like that's something we talked about as to why we're not like, one of the reasons we're not, one of the reasons we don't play the more hardcore stuff is because we didn't have that. We didn't have that experience growing up. Like, I never had a console until, like, we bought, like as an adult, I got a Wii at some point.
Who didn't?
And so...
I didn't.
All right, Dave.
Once again, I'm really cheap.
Oh, well, right. We've covered that with the phones, yeah.
But the Wii was so cheap.
Well, I mean, it wasn't that cheap.
Dave is selectively cheap. You'll notice a nicely built AR hanging on his back wall with a safe next to it that's the size of a grown human. His screen is bright enough to wash his face completely out. And I don't think he's ever had graphics cards that weren't in like the top 10% of what was available. He's just
6 years ago
cheap.
I did. When I was in college. It was even worse back then. Yeah, let's not go into that. The college cheapness is something else entirely.
So I mean, but he's teaching, that dad is teaching the kid like valuable skills actually, because like that thing you said about he had to die 3,000 or however many times to figure that out, that teaches perseverance. And, like there've actually been, I think I've seen like articles about this. Maybe I'm making this up. I'm not sure, but, about that video games, and obviously like moderation, a kid playing it like all day long, but, can be really good for learning hand-eye coordination and again, like how to stick to something and how to keep trying until you achieve the result you want. Like that's a useful skill in life.
Yeah,
I don't have it, so...
I think it's also probably notable, like Spelunky probably doesn't have an option where you can spend 30 tokens that you can buy in the iOS store.
Exactly.
Because if you get stuck, you can just advance using that way. Like, you actually... Like, it might just be too hard. It was before, I think, games... I don't want to say games got politically correct, but I think the game industry felt the pressure to make them more accessible, almost to the point of losing some of their original... some of the stuff that made them awesome. So you have games like Mega Man where like it was just too hard, and if you weren't good enough, they're like, you just aren't good enough. Like that's it. It doesn't. There's no.
I mean, there's also just a straight oversaturation of games nowadays. I mean, there just plain wasn't that
That's
many
true.
back then. I mean, there was a lot. It's not like there was only one a year, but there's just so many now that I mean, it's the same when I started playing Dark Souls. Like the first thing that like I was just like heck with this game because I didn't want to spend 50 hours to like enjoy the game to get into it. It's like I just don't have the time. If I was a lot younger, I had nothing else to do, it was just summer vacation, I would play the crap out of it and I'd figure everything out, just like Battletoads. I played I only got to like it took me like 2 years to get to like level 5 on that thing.
Wow.
But it was like one of the only games I had, so of course I had tons of time and I enjoyed it. But nowadays it's like I may have some time, but I'd rather do something else than that. But I think those games are still awesome. So I think nowadays people confuse a casual game or trying to dumb it down or make it more just casual friendly. I think that's a wrong term. I think it's more of just it's polishing some things a little bit better to make it a little easier. Like another fact in Dark Souls, like the multiplayer is fun when it works, but it just mostly doesn't, and it's really hard to do it. And it's one of those games where the people playing the game are going to really want to do that once they figure out it's kind of possible. Why not just allow people to do that easier, and then instead of wasting someone's time trying to do it for an hour? That's just a dumb idea.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of easy mode myself, so
yeah, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, my wife, she loves playing games. Like she loved Just Cause 2, but she hated any of the shooting because it just got way too hard. Like she just loved exploring and driving and collecting treasure and stuff like that. And she's okay, like, shooting one little bad guy, but it would just go insane hard, and doesn't matter how easy it got. Like she just couldn't figure it out, and so like that lost her on the game.
That game's pretty clunky.
We call those shooty bits, and we don't like
shooting,
them.
but then like they never stop. They just keep coming. They just keep coming. So, the same thing with Skyrim. I put it on easy, and she still had a pretty hard time at some parts. And so if it would have been great if there was literally like a you don't die mode, and you can just explore and get treasure and stuff. She would love that.
If she played on
PC, there is.
You just open up that console. You just type in some cheats or install that little mod. And you can live forever.
She could never really figure out first-person shooter games on PC. She's tried Half-Life 2.
That's the easiest way to do it. You just point the mouse at stuff. You just move.
Yeah, no, with the keys, like doing the all crouch and trying to press them. She could never figure that out.
Yeah, see, that's the same problem I would have. Like, I can completely relate. That's why, that's why we don't play those kinds of games. Because it's like, if I was like, even if I was not a kid, even if I was like 20 or 25 or whatever, maybe I could take it up and like get to a level where I could enjoy them. I would still play on easy probably, but like at least I could enjoy it. And we know that there's no shame in that now. Like I used to feel bad about that or whatever, but now, I mean, like people say all the time that we have a friend who I think has played Dark Souls 2 and he's like, yeah, no, I play on easy. And I'm like, oh, I think of you as like a real gamer. So that must be okay. So I just am never going to build up those reflexes, I don't think, anymore. It's just not possible unless I had a lot more time, and I just don't have it. And like you said, there's sometimes I'd like to do other things too. Like
that's definitely another thing. Is like I would be much when I was younger. I was much more willing to like fight through a really difficult game and just like you can't beat me. I'm gonna take you apart. Like I'm gonna figure it out. And then
but it's hard.
But these days, I'm like,
so much better.
As soon as it becomes mildly inconvenient, I'm like, I've got like 30 other games I got on Steam sale for 10 cents. Right, because
there's so many other games. That's part of it for sure. When there's so many options, you're like, okay, like I'm not. There's hard that's enjoyable, I think, and then there's hard that's just like I can't do this. This is crushing my soul.
It's just work. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what we're all trying to admit right here is we're just working through the fact that we're all getting old. And we're just like, you just don't want to anymore. You're just like, there's Netflix, there's other things, I just don't.
You've still got 12 years till you turn 30, so you're doing good.
Oh my God, you are a baby. That's crazy.
I am not 18. I'm not 18.
No, but like, okay, fine. How old are you? Fine.
25.
Okay, that's still young.
You're still a baby.
You're still a baby.
I have no problem with that. Shut up, Debbie.
You can still get better. You can still get better.
I'm maybe
a cartoon.
I'm maybe 12 years younger than you. Maybe. Debbie, you don't look a day over 38, okay?
Oh, thank you.
And now, actually, we're going to segue into Debbie's favorite topic of conversation when it comes to gaming. It's now time for the news. We only have 2 news items this week. H1Z1, Debbie, can you talk about what's happening in the next month or so?
Squeak?
She did a little bit. We're going to ignore it and move on. But Debbie, can you walk us through what's happening in H1Z1?
H1Z1 currently announced their EA release date, their early access date, on January 15th.
All right.
It is known.
There are 2 modes of early access, are there not?
Yes, there are 2 modes. You can buy the early access at the base price of $20, and that gives you all the features that they have in the game right now, just current survival mode, and you can just, shoot people, shoot zombies, and have a bunch of fun like that. And you can pay a little more to get on special servers that have certain modes like headshot only kills, no zombies, just people, or just no people. Well, they can't do no people.
They call that DayZ mode.
Yes, DayZ mode. And stuff like that. But the big backlash initially, because they didn't word it right in the live stream, that people thought, oh no, I have to pay more to get into early access and stuff, but it's not the case. It's just for little game server modes like that. So
okay, are you day one purchase here?
I wasn't when they announced it, just because of the wording was off and it made me feel weird. But once they yes, Joel, thank you.
It feels so weird.
But once they released a more detailed description of the packages they're releasing, I felt a little better. So I think I'm a yes on day one.
Okay.
And they did say that there are ways to earn tokens to play those modes if you buy the base package.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be opinionated for a second and say that I still have a problem with paying extra money to test something that's going to be eventually free, but at least there is a path that you can go without paying the extra money. So it's not as bad as it was. I'm still not super happy about it.
I just thought of something funny. You're going to play the game and collect one of those tokens. Be like, Dave, can you just use your token to come over in the other servers? But I don't want to use the token.
I worked hard for this token.
Yeah, I know. You're never going to use them. You're going to just stay in the base game. Yeah, a little chest full of these tokens. Dave, can you spare me just one token, please?
Sir, may I have one?
So, Debbie, this is coming out on Steam Early Access?
Yes, it's just Steam for now.
So, all right, so I need to set up Steam Family Sharing with you so I can try it out without paying money.
Well, I'm going to be on it more than you will ever be. So
me and Debbie will tell you how it's like. Okay, we'll do a Debbie and Joel review.
Okay.
All right. I mean, it's only $20. I guess I could do that.
And confession mode, Dave's buying day one for the $20, the cheap option, of course.
Oh yeah.
But day one, because they confirmed the police cruiser with lights and siren is in on day one. It's going to be rare, but it's out there.
So I find it interesting the weird random things you get super nerdy about, like. It can be missing a dozen features, and you're like, you can brew coffee in the game? You can cook coffee around a campfire?
There's coffee brewing. I can get in my police cruiser, drive out to the mountains in the zombie apocalypse, build a campsite, and brew coffee. I'm happy. I'm in.
Well, I told Dave about something that I was really excited about. You can bake pies in the game. I'm going to open a bakery.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you can bake pies. I just want to have a little cabin and be like, hey guys, come get an apple pie.
Joel, are you sure,
on the windowsill,
you're reading the right forums?
Bears steal it. No, I'm certain that it said that. H1Z1.
I'm totally certain.
Crafting pies. I saw that.
Pie.
Yeah, and you can make a blackberry pie in a campfire.
I hope the animation for crafting that is like you get you get blackberries, you get wheat, and then you go to a workbench with a hammer and just hammer on the workbench for a couple minutes, and then get a blackberry pie out of it.
Freaking tons of pies! I just hope you can throw it as a melee weapon, at the zombies. There, eat a delicious pie.
That's all Joel wants, I guess.
I just want a game that's fun.
So, that's all you want in the game is the ability to throw pies. You might enjoy the original Lego Island. I believe from 1996.
I did play that.
You could throw pizzas at the Brickster.
So real.
I'd just rather be eating pie.
Yeah.
Is there
always a good decision?
I think that's called real life, where you just eat a pie.
Real life.
There's an Oculus Rift one about drinking soda.
Oh my god!
Of course there is,
you can drink soda. I haven't tried it yet.
Oh, good. I'm glad you drew a line somewhere.
I haven't paid for it yet, guys, but I thought about it briefly.
Okay, the next bit of news. Dean Hall has launched a new studio and left Bohemia. We're not going to spend too long on this because we've talked about it on the podcast before that he was going to be doing it. But Dave, basically, in 30 seconds or so, what's happening with Dean Hall?
Exactly as planned. He has left Bohemia Interactive to start his own studio back in New Zealand. He's been welcomed home on the front page newspaper article, so not much going on in New Zealand these days. The studio is called Rocketworks, and you can actually apply to it right now if you're in New Zealand by emailing YOLO at rocketworks.com.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
No way.
Yeah.
That's how I know I wouldn't want to work there.
He's really cool, but he's a really cool guy. It's not that type of studio, or he's not that type of guy at all. But I think he just has a very quirky sense of humor, and it's just like, why not?
And he is still involved. He is still involved in the production of DayZ, just as a idea guy. Basically, he does still have the original vision for the game, so he's still on call to make design decisions, but he's not a paid employee any longer.
Still pulling them royalty checks.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be making royalties off of that for a long time. And a member of one of the studios that Bohemia bought in March to add to the DayZ team. I can't remember the name of the town in the Czech Republic, but the one that did all the Cabela's hunting games, one of their producers is now lead on the DayZ team. But they have an art lead now, a producer, a lead designer, and a whole team. It's not just like it was last year where it was just Dean Hall. So the game's in good hands, and I'm excited to see what the studio comes out with a long time from now. And I have to share this one. I'm excited about the future of DayZ. I don't see it as abandonware. I think we're going to have a great game by the end of it. But some of the comments, the snarky comments, are still pretty great. And right now, if you go to the Rocketworks website, it's just like a placeholder page that says, full studio website coming soon. Comment of the week was someone posted, so Dean Hall couldn't finish DayZ or his own website before he launched his new studio, which I got a kick out of. So that's my comment of the week for sure.
Sweet. All right, it is now time for the Singularity Shame segment portion of the podcast by named after Singularity 80, who is not shameful himself, but we just named the podcast after, or this section of the podcast. The Singularity...
That's the sound for the Singularity Shame segment. Okay. I just made it up right now.
All right, thanks, Joel. As long as you remember to do it from now on. Can you do it one more time?
Oh, are you trying to remember for something else?
No. I just want
you just 10 seconds late.
This as like a text. Okay.
It was entertaining. All right.
Sound.
So, and then Debbie, you can follow that up with a goat noise.
I think I just woke up.
What? Goat?
I heard a dog.
Goat.
I think I just...
What we should do in the future is Joel does that, and then you just hit the goat nose in the end of it.
Okay, Joel, do it again.
Are we really doing this again?
Yeah, just one more time. One more time.
That was really good.
It is. Oh, she's so good at the goat noise.
You're not the only monster.
She's so good. Okay, so anyway, the Singularity Shame segment is where we take somebody who maybe needs to be knocked down a peg or two, and we talk about their issues. This week, we are talking about why you can't stream 4K on a computer. So I went through this week. I got a 4K monitor. I'm absolutely loving it. And I was excited because I'm an Amazon Prime member, and I have Netflix, which means that I have two services which stream 4K content. And I was excited to stream some 4K House of Cards or Breaking Bad or something, just one of the few shows that's available in 4K right now.
Yeah, House of Cards is 4K, isn't it?
Yeah, so I was all excited to do it. And then as it turns out, you can't do it on the computer. And I was like, why on earth can't you? Well, as it turns out, the reason you can't get 4K Netflix on Amazon on a PC or a Mac, even though they are capable of doing it, is because of HDCP, High Definition Content Protection. If you don't know what that is basically a way that content providers have come up with to try to stop people from stealing their content, and that means that you have to have authentication. Like if I want to play HDCP content into a computer monitor or TV, that TV has to support HDCP, the cable has to, and the thing I'm playing it on, which in theory is good. But it does nothing to stop piracy. All you need to strip that off is a basic HDMI splitter. Because like the Elgato game capture we're using to stream the podcast right now, the PS4 used to not be able to stream through it because the PS4 had HDCP turned on by default. But then people figured out a $30 HDMI splitter would just take off the HDCP and send the signal through. So it doesn't really do anything to stop piracy. All it does really is make it harder for the paying customers to enjoy the thing they're paying for. But that's why you can only stream 4K content on select television. So if you're buying a television, you have to look up and see, hey, does this one have the Netflix and Amazon Prime apps, and two,
the Netflix,
the Netflixes, if you can get the Netflixes on it, and does it have the right HDCP version? Does it have, for this one, HDCP 2.2? Because of course the average consumer is going to understand that, know to look that up.
Yeah.
And then you have to subscribe to the services. So congratulations, entertainment industry. This is why people pirate your stuff. It's not the only reason. This is one of the reasons people pirate your stuff is because you can click a button and then 10 minutes later you can just watch the movie. People really like that. People like being able to just like click a button and enjoy something. And maybe it's because we're all spoiled and we have everything at our fingertips on the internet. But if there was like a website I could go to and for, I don't know, $3 I could stream a 4K, episode of something just by already having my payment information in, and I hit the one watch button and it charges me, I would do that. That would be easy. That would be no big deal. I would happily pay that. It would probably be
more than that, though.
It probably would be, just because also people don't understand how to price things versus digital goods. Like, I think it's on the Sony PlayStation Store. It still costs $15 to buy a movie in HD on the PlayStation Network. Why? Wow. Like, that's why those services aren't taking off.
I don't mind if it's the same price as long as they give you all the features and stuff that comes with it. Like if there was like if the movie was a kind of in a wrapper type thing that you click on it and it goes into a couple modes. You can have commentary. You can have all the same things that comes on the Blu-ray that you paid for $25 or whatever. But if a digital movie is like just about the same cost as a Blu-ray, which doesn't come with all the behind the scenes and everything else, I think that's bad.
And it's tied to a specific service other than being like, instead of being a physical product you're able to keep and use. Yeah. So, I don't know. There's a long way to go, but that's the Singularity Shame segment. Any of you with 4K monitors, I even looked online trying to find, like, can I download some 4K video to look at? And I had a hard time finding 4K footage. All the 4K YouTube stuff is horrible. It's so compressed that it doesn't really look that great. It looked great on a 1080p monitor, but now that I'm looking at it on a 4K monitor, it's not fantastic. It is now time for mail time.
Mail time.
All right, we have more sound effects. You can write in to the podcast at casualshenanigans@gmail.com, just like Kanan did. He says, well, hello there, everyone. It's your boy Kanan writing. Hello, Kanan. With much love and a pack of thanks as always. Today I have a question for Dave. Have you heard about the mod for Stalker called Frozen Zone? If yes, then what do you think about it? If not, I strongly advise you look it up. This mod looks amazing graphically. It can be seen that it's our loved X-Ray running, but modified. I don't know what that means. Dave might.
The engine is called X-Ray.
Okay. They have showcased some destructible environments as well as vehicles. So, Dave, are you familiar with Frozen Zone? Is that something people should be checking out?
I keep seeing ice cream. I'm looking it up.
What? Of just Frozen Zone?
Yeah, tons of frozen ice cream.
Maybe you should add Stalker to it. Although, maybe not. That seems like it could come up with some weird stuff, too. Stalker Frozen Zone.
Like when Dave... Joel, what did you search for on Amazon?
I love at work. On the work network.
Oh, gosh.
I was just looking for adult Halloween costumes.
Right? What were you actually looking for, though?
I was looking for adult Halloween costumes. It's still named the same thing on the costumes site.
What did you search for?
It's just that I searched adult Halloween costumes. That's what I searched.
And what'd you get?
Why, that's not what I got. Got a whole bunch of other stuff. Oh, yeah.
So anyway, Frozen Zone. If you're interested in Stalker, look it up. And I'm assuming Dave will be looking it up as well.
I'm looking it up right now.
He's downloading right now.
Kaden also mentioned Servarium really quickly, but for time, we're not going to talk about that. He just talks about how it looks cool. Last thing he says is, one final note before I sign out, James should talk more. I want to hear his sexy voice. He's too quiet. James is not on this podcast, but I will pass that along to him. And we will try to have James talk more with his sexy voice. He said, love all you filthy casuals, slap a seal and make a deal. I don't know what that means.
Everyone needs to mail in and keep requesting that James sings a song live.
Oh, yes, please do that. So
he's got a great singing voice.
He actually is a really awesome singer.
He's just a little shy.
And he probably isn't going to listen to this podcast, at least not all the way through. So everyone email in with song requests, and let's see if we can pressure James into singing.
He loves you too. He loves you too.
Okay, he loves the band. Well, because he's old.
Can you do
he loves you too.
Oh.
Can you do a Barry White song?
Ooh,
some jazz.
I would love that.
Of course you would, Joel.
I'd have that on my phone all the time. It's like, James is calling. Boom, boom, boom.
You just never answer, just goes.
Yeah, he's like, he knows he's listening.
All right, and then our last thing before we do the ending stuff for the show. Next week is the annual Lootcast, the second annual Lootcast, where we have trivia. It is now annual. We have trivia, and we're going to give out game codes. We have super awesome games to give away, like The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, and amongst other things, which I can't remember at the moment, but we picked up some games.
And we're giving away a copy of The Long Dark, which is an amazing survival game, very atmospheric.
Yes. Mostly like some indie games. We have some AAA stuff in there as well. You will not want to miss it. But that is next week, and we'll be giving out more information about it, but plan on it being 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time like normal. But after that, we are going to have an ARMA community event. If you're like, I'm not that great at ARMA, don't worry. That won't be relevant.
It's a filthy casual mission.
What did I call this event earlier? Protect Santa's sleigh.
I thought you called it like hijacking Santa's sleigh or something like that.
No, it was like protecting or something. Anyway, the basic mission is going to be Santa's sleigh has to make it across Altus to deliver gifts to all the good girls and boys. And we're going to need all the good soldiers, yes. And we're going to need people to protect Santa's sleigh, and we're also going to need people to ride in the back of pickup trucks with guns and try to stop Santa's sleigh. I guess you're the Grinch. We're going to have Team Grinch and Team Spirit of Christmas. And that's going to be shortly after the podcast next week. So be sure to tune in for that. You will not need the Casual Shenanigans mod pack. I repeat, you will not need the mod pack.
Vanilla will be ready in time.
This will be all using vanilla stuff. So if you haven't installed Arma 3 in a while, you might want to get on it. Joel, I'm sure you've deleted it since the last time you played it.
Last week.
I've kept it on. I haven't deleted it for a long time now.
Man, I'm really proud of you. Okay.
Like 3 months. It's the longest time. Every once in a while, every time I get off from playing Arma 3, I'm like, can't delete. I'll save it.
So yeah, and if you guys are wondering, hey, when's all the Potato Masher stuff coming? We are going to devote a podcast to the Potato Masher, but that's probably going to be after Christmas, just because of the timing, the way it's working out, and it gives me time to record more comparisons and benchmarks and stuff like that.
Because your real job.
That's my real job.
Adult stuff.
What is that voice?
It's my real job,
Like yours better.
But yes, before we go tonight, it is time for 90 Seconds with Joel, a part of the podcast that has never been as short as 90 seconds, where we let Joel talk about whatever he wants. So Joel, the floor is yours.
All right, I just wanted to tease you guys of something coming up on the Christmas Lootcast, something spectacular.
And just for the record,
so
I want to make sure everyone's about.
you know it's about to happen. It's going to happen. People, I need you to email in and make sure this happens. I have a contest for Jeremiah to do for eating 10 Cadbury eggs and a small cup of eggnog in 5 minutes. So that's the thing. If he does it, I buy him any game he wants.
Oh, I didn't know about
up to
this
$60.
Part. Okay, wait. Now, see, this is what worries me a little bit.
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
I feel like eating 10 Cadbury eggs is going to be super easy, but the fact that you're so confident
plus about a
me.
soda can worth of eggnog.
A soda can worth of eggnog. Okay, that scares me a little bit.
That's like 1,000 calories of eggnog.
You can take it.
Just don't eat much that day. Who wants to see that, guys? Just please raise your hands, raise your votes, raise your emoticons.
2 thumbs up from Dave.
So I guess email in if you want to see that, and we'll do that on the podcast. It wasn't James going to do it too? Is it just me?
No. I was trying to get John to do it. So if John wants to join, that would be amazing. If he wants to do it, I think you guys should have a race. So Debbie, tell him about it because he knows a $60 game. That's his. Let me know. I'll take care of paying for the eggnog and for the Cadbury eggs.
I
need to see this happen.
Next question: where do I get
of
Cadbury
the caramel
eggs?
persuasion?
What if I didn't eat a ton of candy and didn't know where you bought Cadbury eggs? Where would I go to get those?
Well, I sent you a link in Gmail too.
Oh,
you
really?
can find them on Amazon, but you should be able to get them at Target.
Yeah, I want to check in store before I have them shipped to me. Okay, that's the year-round thing? That's not like an Easter thing?
Yeah, they're like anywhere. Yeah, they make Christmas kinds. They make
Now, Joel,
Easter
wasn't part of this
Crazy.
that the eggs were going to be the mixed fillings too, right? You wanted to mix it up?
It was going to be like, I mean, that's the only kinds they have. It's like a cream filling or it's, like a cherry inside or
but
caramel.
But you can't have like a consistent filling. It has to be all mixed up.
Well, no, I wanted to do caramel. I think caramel is going to work the best.
Okay,
I think a mix would be the biggest
while
hit.
I'm just chewing for 5 minutes straight, we're going to have to plan something else.
I'll be commentating.
Okay,
there. So I was like, oh my gosh, look at his jaw.
That's how you make good radio.
It's getting slow.
You have the host chew stuff for 5 minutes. That's how you entertain everybody.
Come on. Will we freaking stream this thing? So the people that stream and the people that listen, you're going to hear a lot of amazing chewing.
High definition lip smacking noises. Okay, well, thank you. That's been 90 Seconds with Joel, the part of the podcast where we never know what's going to happen. Dave, do you have a comment of the week for us?
No, the comment of the week was just the one on Rocket that made me laugh.
Okay, cool. All right, well, that is the podcast, guys. So be sure to follow Unconsoleable. Where can everyone follow you guys? And I'm going to put all this in the description, but just so you can tell everyone who's watching live and everyone listening who's not going to look at the description, how can people find you?
Okay, well, we hope you guys do. So our website is unconsolable.com, and as I always say in our podcast, so that you know how to spell it, it's then the word console, and then the word able. Unconsolable.com, so you can find us there, find links to all our episodes, and we have some lovely merchandise actually that Jessica made for us that are a bunch of things that say Real Gamer on them, which is like
iPhone cases, which is very appropriate. I think.
Like Real Gamer, wink wink, nudge nudge, we do consider ourselves real gamers, but some people don't. So
what's real gamer? Like, are you playing a game? You're a gamer. Like, people who play chess are real gamers. People who play cards,
right. But some people don't think that. So
let's just go ahead and say who it is. It's the Xbox Live crowd.
Pretty much.
We're not that politically correct on here. This is a PC gaming podcast. Let's just say it.
Cool. All right. So yeah, you can find us on our website. You can find us on Twitter. The same thing at Unconsoleable. You can find myself and Jessica on Twitter too. I am at Anna Tarkov. And so you'll have to figure out how to spell that, or I think there's a link on our website also.
There is.
There is. That's right.
Contact page. Not
and,
our extremely helpful
page.
That's
right. With our extremely detailed bios that say, like, Anna needs to write a bio, Jessica needs to write a bio. So we're a little behind on that. Sorry. And you can find...
We're never going to...
Yeah, probably never. And Jessica's on Twitter, too, at Jessica Dennis. And you can also find there's basically the website has everything. Like we have a Steam curator page that you can go to. Although is there a link on the website to that, Jessica? Or I can't remember. Maybe not. But if you want to get to that, it's really simple. We made a easy URL instead of the long Steam one. It's unconsolable.com/Steam. If you want to go to that,
I think there's a link in episode 2.
Yeah, there
probably.
If people are definitely going to be too lazy to find that, I think. But, and of course, you can subscribe to us in whatever podcatcher app of your choice or in iTunes. And hope you guys like our show. If you ever check us out, we'd be really appreciative. And
you guys definitely
thanks you guys for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, I highly recommend everyone check them out. Like, it was pretty obvious from the podcast tonight. I don't know most of the games they're talking about. The indie ones that are also available on the PC, I'm familiar with most of those, and I've played a lot of them. But the ones on mobile, I have very little mobile experience, but I still really enjoy listening to you guys' podcast. So I highly recommend everyone go check them out. And as usual, all of the links for them are in the description of this podcast, and you can follow us at Casual Shenanigans, at Germ Gaming, at Evil Viking. Joel doesn't like to be followed. Please don't follow Debbie, or her husband will hurt you. And you can... We don't have a website, but I'm starting to feel like we should get one because you guys' website looks really professional.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, we need one.
I just want to go on the record that I said we should make one a long time ago.
And it's not
Me
like
too.
two of the people on this podcast are web developers at this very moment.
And I offered to do that like
I'm
forever
sorry,
ago.
I'm sorry, Joel. If you weren't in the middle of
we just thought Facebook and Twitter's enough.
If you weren't in the middle,
No,
I said not.
You need to have a
It's
website.
enough for now. That's what I said for now. And you're in the middle of
2 years
making
later,
a movie, man. Maybe when your movie is done, we'll talk about it.
I have enough time to do it. Just go ahead.
It's okay, man. You started. You started.
Joel can't word.
Don't forget, everyone. It's spelled Unconsoleable. So
Unconsoleable.
Thank you.
But yeah. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Tune in next week for the Lootcast. Expect announcements coming for that. Bring your trivia game faces. There's probably a better way to say that. And come prepared.
Yeah, are we going to do the call-in?
We'll see. We might do a call-in. If we can make it work better than we did last time. It is, of course, a call-in show that gave us our wonderful slap a seal unofficial motto that I can't stand. But so who knows what magic will happen this year. But yeah, that'll be coming up next week. So we look forward to seeing you all. And now... Anna and Jessica, we normally end the show by telling everyone to stay casual. So as our guests this week, could you take us out?
I'll let
Sure,
Anna
you just
do
want
that.
us to say stay casual, is that right?
It's more or less, you just tell everybody to stay casual. You know, it's just as exciting as it sounds.
Okay, all right.
Just that, not like stay excited, stay happy, stay casual.
Okay, Jessica, should we do it on 3?
That'll never work.
Oh, come on.
Do you remember when we tried to do our intro in tandem and it was just like the most hilarious?
Okay.
Leaving you guys.
Well, we'll just tell you at our own leisure then. Stay casual.
Stay casual, everybody.